Chevy dealers.
This Friday and Saturday, the Society of American Foresters will bring collegiate and professional logger competitors to Fort Missoula for the 28th Annual Forestry Day. College timber sports will compete on April 25th and 26th. Pro athletes will join them on Saturday, April 26th. It's where you'll see how the old-time lumberjacks got the job done. Behind the Logger Sports Show is the man who helps acquire the antique logging equipment and helps keep it running. In our Montana moment, Kevin Mackey with showpieces.
So this is the University of Montana Woodsman's Team Logger Sports Arena.
Scott Keene shows NBC Montana an arena all ready for a ton of events. Pole climbing, sawing competitions. This pond will be filled with water. There is the choker race.
So the choker race emulates the old style setting of the chokers of the logs, but they run completely around, and we put logs across here, and they float.
There's log rolling or burling.
They'll put the logs in and then spin on them against the competitors. You know, see the old lumberjacks doing that in the rivers.
Scott is enamored of the skills that were once ordinary workdays for Montana's lumberjacks and mill workers so many years ago. He graduated from the University of Montana School of Forestry. Before retiring, he spent decades working for industrial logging companies in Montana.
I did what foresters do. We grew trees, we cut trees, we planted.
He's volunteered his time and knowledge here for more than 30 years. He's always on the lookout for authentic logging equipment to add to an extensive collection. Somebody's dad or granddad might have died and left his family with machinery that had been parked for a long time.
And then the kids inherit it. They don't know what to do with it.
So it finds a home here, newly restored.
By the time you're done, it's worth it, because here you have something you brought back to life that hasn't run in 40, 50, 60 years.
For Scott, it's a rush.
You worked all that time. It's been so long since Austin's been sitting, and boom, she's alive.
On Forestry Day, much of this equipment will show off its old glory. The steam-powered sawmill is always a hit.
This is one of the last steam-powered sawmills in the country. The Society of American Foresters built this in the early 80s. This was one of our first projects.
It came from an old sawmill in Deer Lodge.
So this is the 1916 Case steam engine.
This 80-horsepower engine drives the sawmill. The steam engine's on permanent display courtesy of Missoula's Troutwine family.
So this is a 1923 Willamette gear drive locomotive.
It hauled logs from the woods to the main line and was designed for steeper grades. It was featured in a 1955 Hollywood movie.
Timberjack, and sort of a hokey movie, but it's got probably 4 or 5 minutes of this actually running up and down the Blackfoot. This is actually what they call a slide-ass jammer, basically a log loader, but it never left a railroad car.
Here's a horse-led log sled they used in the wintertime. Here's a 1918 Holt 75 tractor.
They're very rare. Collectors really want them.
Scott treasures the first motorized grader that Caterpillar built.
Been sitting in the field for 50 years. We start looking and it's serial number 1. Extremely rare, so we did a frame-up restoration.
This is a 1925 Bucyrus 20B, a mining shovel that could be used for logging. Scott only knows of 2 others in the world.
And this came out of a mining claim by Nevada Lake.
Scott and his volunteers have never counted all the items they have acquired, but it's easily in the hundreds. Scott says if you can count them, you probably don't have enough.
This is actually what they call the Gibson Speeder. So this is what took the loggers from the camps out to the woods. This was the old Slide Rock lookout. So after the 1910 fires, the Forest Service knew they needed more protection. But, there was no roads. A lot of this was basically wilderness. So they needed lookouts to spot the fires and do quick initial attacks.
It stands out as a showpiece on the landscape. So does the teepee burner, which originally came from the S&W mill in Connor. The mills used to burn sawdust from the logs it processed.
This is what Montana used to be. I mean, with all the, there used to be 11 sawmills in the Missoula Valley, and each had a teepee burner, and now there's none. We sort of joke around that our sawmill is now the largest sawmill in Missoula County. It's sad, but it's true.
That's why Scott is excited to celebrate Forestry Day, to revel in our rich timber history. Kevin Mackey, NBC, Montana. If you want to watch this story again or any of our Montana moments, go to NBCMontana.com/Montana Moment. These unique stories about the Treasure State, its history, and its great people are now the Montana Moment podcast. Look for new episodes every week. If you have a story idea, let us know. Until next time, be safe, stay healthy, and keep making Montana Moments.